Top 10 Worst Cars of the 1980s. 1. Yugo GV, 1985 to 1992. The Yugo GV is often cited as the worst car ever sold in America. Imported from Yugoslavia, it was cheap, really cheap. But with that low price came equally low quality. It had a rough, noisy engine and terrible reliability. The interior felt like it was made from recycled soda bottles. Breakdowns were frequent, even with new models. Handling was unpredictable, especially at highway speeds. Still, it gained a cult following over the years. Some see it as a lovable underdog, but most remember it as a symbol of how not to build a car. 2. Chevrolet Citation, 1980 to 1985. The Citation was GM's first front-wheel drive compact sedan. It had high expectations, but reality hit hard. The brakes failed frequently, and rust showed up early. Transmission problems were widespread. GM tried to hide the issues, leading to lawsuits and recalls. The car looked boxy and uninspired, even for its time. Interior materials wore out quickly. Despite strong initial sales, its reputation quickly collapsed. Today, it's a case study in poor quality control. The Citation truly failed to live up to its name. 3. Cadillac Simmeron, 1982 to 1988. The Simmeron might be Cadillac's most embarrassing moment. It was essentially a Chevy Cavalier with leather seats and a fancy badge. Buyers quickly realized they were paying luxury prices for a very basic car. Performance was weak and uninspiring. The interior, while upgraded, didn't scream Cadillac. It damaged the brand's image for years. Cadillac fans felt betrayed. Critics called it a cynical rebadge with no soul. The Simmeron is now a textbook example of badge engineering gone wrong. Few cars in history have failed so completely. 4. Ford EXP, 1982-1988. The Ford EXP was marketed as a sporty, fuel-efficient two-seater. But it wasn't particularly sporty or efficient. It was just a Ford Escort, with fewer seats and less practicality. Power was severely lacking, even by 80s standards. It couldn't live up to the promise of a fun driving experience. Styling was awkward and forgettable. Buyers didn't see the point of paying more for less car. Sales were disappointing throughout its life. Ford quietly discontinued it with little fanfare. It remains one of the decade's biggest head-scratchers. 5. Renault Alliance, 1983 to 1987. The Renault Alliance was supposed to combine European flair with American practicality. Instead, it delivered neither. Built in the U.S. by AMC using French designs, the execution fell apart. The car suffered from endless mechanical problems. Electrical gremlins were common from day one. Build quality was inconsistent at best. It quickly earned a reputation for unreliability. Despite being Motor Trend's Car of the Year in 1983, it aged poorly. Many cars broke down before hitting 50,000 miles. It's now remembered as one of the decade's biggest automotive flops. 6. Hyundai XL, 1986 to 1994. The XL was Hyundai's first car in the U.S., and it made a big initial splash. Priced under $5,000, it drew in tons of buyers. But the honeymoon didn't last long. Engines wore out quickly, and transmissions were fragile. The paint faded fast, and interiors fell apart. Reliability was so bad, resale value plummeted immediately. Hyundai's reputation suffered for years because of this car. It was cheap for a reason, and buyers found out the hard way. Eventually, Hyundai improved, but the XL remains a cautionary tale. It was a rough start for the brand in America. 7. Chrysler TC by Maserati, 1989-1991. A Chrysler made by Maserati? What could go wrong? Quite a bit, actually. The TC was a strange luxury convertible meant to compete with European roadsters. But it ended up being slow, expensive, and poorly built. The styling was bland, and the performance was mediocre. Quality issues plagued the few units that were sold. It shared parts with the lowly Dodge Daytona, disappointing luxury buyers. Chrysler lost money on nearly every unit. The whole project was a mismatch from the start. Today, it's remembered as an ambitious flop. 8. Pontiac Fiero, 1984 to 1988. The Fiero had bold ambitions. It was GM's first mid-engine sports car. On paper, it sounded like a dream. But the early models were plagued with problems. Overheating was common, and some even caught fire. Build quality was inconsistent, and materials felt cheap. GM marketed it as a sports car, but gave it an economy car engine. It was underpowered and lacked true performance. Later years improved, but the damage was done. The Fiero became a symbol of wasted potential. It could have been great, but it wasn't. 9. Subaru XT, 1985 to 1991. The Subaru XT was one of the strangest cars of the decade. It looked like a spaceship with a wedge-shaped design and digital dash. But under that futuristic body was a weak engine and sluggish performance. The steering felt numb, and the suspension soft. It wasn't sporty despite its appearance. Reliability was hit or miss, especially with the turbo models. The interior was cramped, and visibility poor. Subaru was ahead of its time, but not in a good way here. Sales were disappointing, and it faded quickly. Today, it's a quirky footnote in Subaru's history. 10. Oldsmobile Omega, 1980 to 1984. The Omega was supposed to be a premium compact for Oldsmobile, but it was just a rebadged Chevrolet Citation with a fancier grille. It inherited all of the Citation's problems and added a few more. Handling was poor and build quality subpar. Owners faced constant mechanical issues and recalls. The styling did little to separate it from its siblings. As Oldsmobile tried to go upscale, the Omega pulled them down. It hurt the brand's credibility in the compact segment. Sales dropped quickly as word spread. It's now largely forgotten, and that might be for the best.